Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Ava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashoda Nandana Vraja Janaranjana Yashoda Nandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभा जय गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवरधारी गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा जय गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजना यशोदानंदना व्रज जनरंजना यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव राधा माधव राधे जय राधा माधव राधा माधव राधे Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Nitai Gaura Haribol, 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 Haribol. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivajagacharya Ashtottara Satasri Srimad Divine Grace Abhay Charanaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Prem Se Kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Srila Prabhupada Ki Prabhupada Anuga Ki Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Nitai Gaura Premanande. All glories to Simul devotees, all glories to Simul devotees, all glories to Simul devotees, all glories, all glories, all glories to Shishi Guru and Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, the Lord's dancing at Ratha Yatra from Madhya Leela, chapter 13. Sajiyat Krishna Chaitanya Shri Ratagre Nanartaya Yenasi Jagatam Chitram Jagannatho Api Vismitaha. May the Supreme Personality of Godhead Sri Krishna Chaitanya, who danced in front of the car of Sri Jagannath, be all glorified. By seeing his dancing, not only was the whole universe held in wonder, but Lord Jagannath himself became very much astonished. Jaya Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. All glories to Sri Krishna Chaitanya and Prabhu Nityananda. All glories to Advaita Chandra and all glories to the devotees of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Jaya Shrota Gana Shuna Kori Ye Kamana Rata Yatraya Nritya Prabhura Parama Mohana. All glories to the listeners of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Please hear the description of the dancing of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at the Ratha Yatra festival. His dancing is very enchanting. Please hear of it with great attention. So I will read some more from inside. Purve che rasadi lila koila vrindavane alaukika lila gaura koila kshane kshane. Just as Lord Shri Krishna formerly performed the Rasa Leela dance and other pastimes of Vrindavana, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu performed uncommon pastimes moment after moment. Bhakta Gana Anubhave Nahi Jane Ana Shri Bhagavata Sastrata Te Pramana. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's dancing before the Ratha Yatra car could be perceived only by pure devotees. Others could not understand. descriptions of Lord Krishna's uncommon dancing can be found in the revealed scripture of Srimad Bhagavatam. Purport: Lord Sri Krishna expanded himself into many forms while engaged in the Rasa Leela dance, and he also expanded himself when he married 16,000 wives in Dwaraka. The same process was adopted by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when he expanded himself into 7 forms to dance in each and every group of the Sankirtana party. These expansions were appreciated by pure devotees, including King Prataparudra. Although for reasons of external formality, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu refused to see King Prataparudra because he was a king. King Prataparudra became one of the Lord's most confidential devotees by the Lord's special mercy upon him. The king could see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu simultaneously present in all 7 groups. As confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam, one cannot see the expansions of the transcendental forms of the Lord unless one is a pure devotee of the Lord. Ye mata Mahaprabhu kore nritya range, bhasa ila sabaloka preme ratarange. In this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu danced in great jubilation and inundated all the people with waves of ecstatic love. Yei mata hoila Krishnera rathe arohana, tare age Prabhu nachila bhaktagana. Thus Lord Jagannath mounted his car and Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu inspired all his devotees to dance in front of it. Om Tat Sat. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guruho Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sagitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shundavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hari Bol Hare Krishna. Very happy to be here with all of you. By the Lord's arrangement yesterday, I did my scheduled meeting, which was meant to be done this morning, in the evening itself. And I was accosted by Prasada Ishwara Krishna Prabhu and Pramod Nityam, who is not here, asking that I should immediately come here. And I immediately decided, yes, let's do that. And so I'm here. So I think it is Daiva, Lord's arrangement, and not planned by me, so that I could spend some time and I get an opportunity to read Chaitanya Charitamrita. So I've been asked to talk to you. There comes Pramod Nityam. So I've been asked to talk to you about Ratha Yatra pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. And we did some little reading. It's a beautiful, wonderful chapter describing the amazing pastime of the dancing of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We often speak about many people dancing, but rarely do you see the Supreme Lord dancing. And here it is mentioned only some people could actually see him dancing. Mass public display of dancing was for certain conditioned souls. But there was a private, special dancing which only pure devotees of the Lord could see. It's mentioned here. So one spectacle and many people see it differently, according to where you're situated. So it's mentioned here, King Prataparudra saw something which others did not see. He saw the Lord dancing in 7 different groups simultaneously. He saw him dancing in 7 different groups simultaneously. And each dance was different also. In each place he was doing something different. So it is not all same step, same orchestra, same, like a group dance. Each one was different. Each one was different. And this he saw and became very amazed. I know that Krishna has appeared as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but I did not see this, that he could dance like this. So people are often, just to talk about the fact that the Lord is dancing. Normally in this world, dance means not something that cultured people who are very serious about making money and making successful in life would spend their time with. The bulk of the people in this world are enamored by the economy and what we should do for it, and there's no time to dance. This famous French philosopher, Nietzsche, he is known to have said that, what is it? His full quote is very funny. I don't remember it exactly. But he said that, I believe in a God who can dance. I believe in a God who can dance. I think he predicted Lord Chaitanya. He's making fun of, he was a, rationalist, and he was making fun of, okay, I believe in a God who will dance. He's making fun of the people who are, he's the guy who wrote on top of the church wall, what is it? God is dead. He wrote big, God is dead. Now what will you people do? Go into the church every day? What will you do? What can they do? They are simple people. They believe in God, and, I don't go by rationale. I have simple faith in God, faith over reason. And they didn't do it, but they found it very irritating, and he had signed there, Nietzsche. So they rubbed off the dead. It became God is Nietzsche. He signed. It looked like the guy thinks he's God. But after some time, it went on, and then he died. Nietzsche left his body. And then they wrote there something else. They wrote there, Nietzsche dead, signed by God, or something like that. So people come and people go, say many things. But Krishna and his pastimes are very, very powerful proof of the fact that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And anybody who can see it is be able to see it only by the Lord's mercy. Only by the Lord's mercy. You see, this is the aspect of faith. Everything need not be reasoning. Everything need not be reasoning and rational only. And religious people are all called faith-based organizations, FBOs. In the UN, the faith-based organizations, they're all based on faith. They're not based on reason, that means. My question often is to rational people is that, don't you have faith in your rationality? That you can, with your rational faculties, understand everything. You don't operate on faith? Of course you do. You have faith in your rationality, that will accommodate all the reality. So everybody is foundationally based on faith. So those who have faith in Krishna's pastimes, They are endowed by His mercy. And by His mercy, they can actually see. This is what Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and Gopinath Acharya's dialogue. When Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's house, Lord Chaitanya has come. He has gone into a trance, fallen down in Jagannath Puri, and he has been taken to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's house. Gopinath Acharya and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya are having a dialogue. Both of them are related in law, through the... So he's telling Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was such a highly educated person that you know that the supreme absolute truth is in your house. Very interesting dialogue. And Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, is it so? How do you know that? I know that because it is mentioned in the scriptures. So I have read all the scriptures. It's not mentioned anywhere that this person is the absolute truth. Then he told that for you to know that, you should have the mercy of the Lord. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya asked, how do I know that you got the mercy and I did not get the mercy? And then he answered that the fact that I know that He's the supreme absolute truth shows that I have got the mercy and you don't have it. Okay, we'll talk later. Cut it off. But that is a fact. He said that you are not able to see. You brought the absolute truth to your house. He is Krishna, the Supreme Lord, and you don't recognize Him. That's proof of the fact that you don't have the mercy. You're handling Him and you don't have the mercy. But I can see He's the Supreme Lord. This is a very powerful argument. I can see because I am a recipient of the mercy of the Lord, I am able to know. And you are not. And the scene was set for him to also see the Supreme Lord. The Lord will show him His Sadbhuja Rupa. He's come for that. He's come to show I am the same Supreme Person you read about in the Vedas. I've come to show you that. So he also becomes a recipient. Right? So Lord Chaitanya, it is mentioned, moved forcefully into the presence of everybody in this world because He has decided to give everybody mercy. Right? So 3 ways that He was present in everybody, in everybody's life. And He forced His way inside everybody. Because that is His mercy. You may not. You may want, you may not want. But I want that you should become a lover of the Supreme Lord. That was Lord Chaitanya's decision. So it's mentioned that 3 ways He was present, that He was in a mass presence. He danced and chanted like this in Rath Yatra for everybody to see Him. It's called Darshana. He gave His darshan to everybody. Temple, we give darshan to everybody. Like that, He manifested Himself publicly and met everybody with, and had everybody see Him. Anybody who saw Lord Chaitanya could not have the impact. It's very difficult for me to avoid the impact of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then He was present Avirbha, that He was, and Avishta. He was present in 2 other ways, like Nakludas Brahmachari and Narsimananda Brahmachari. This is all from Chaitanya Charitamrita, I'm just repeating. These are other ways. Whenever Avirbhav means whenever Lord Chaitanya, whenever Lord Nityananda danced, Lord Chaitanya would be there. In Sachi Mata's house, Lord Chaitanya always was there to eat whenever she cooked. When Raghav Pandit's house, He was always there. Like this, there are certain places that He was always present because of the devotee and his devotion. In Nakuladas Brahmachari's this thing, He entered his form, and through him, He gave mercy to everybody. Avesha. He appeared. Nakuladas Brahmachari is that pastime. You must have heard that he entered Nakuladas Brahmachari's body. And everybody was going to see Nakuladas Brahmachari because he was like a madman, dancing, chanting, and his tejas and his power attracted everybody. And everybody knew this Lord Chaitanya inside him. So they came to take his darshan. But Shivananda Sena thought that everybody is talking like this. Let me go and see. I have my doubts. I have my own doubts. But there's big crowds of people going to see him. And Shivananda Sena thought in his mind, if he's really, for completely overcome by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Chaitanya has entered him, then he will know me and call for me. And he will know my secret mantra that I got, Upadesh. And he went and sat in somewhere else. So Nakladas Brahmachari was attending to everybody and said, Shivananda Sena is somewhere here, bring him here. And they all looked out for who is Shivananda Sena and they brought him. Then Shivananda Sena came and sat next to his feet. Then he said, give up all your doubts. The mantra you got is a 4-syllable mantra like this, and he chanted the mantra. Now don't keep all these doubts in your head. He told him and just immediately dismissed him. And Shivananda Sena became very convinced. This is Lord Chaitanya speaking to me through him. In this way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu forced himself into public appearance, into his pure devotees. And in these ways, he made himself available. Why? Because he had decided that I am going to save the people of this world by my mercy. Who can stop that? That is why he is Mahavadanyaya Avatar. He doesn't need to ask anybody's permission to do what he is doing. So here in the Rath Yatra pastime, he is manifesting himself publicly and have everybody see him. And everybody was watching. It seems described here, many people were not watching Jagannath, they were watching Chaitanya Mahaprabhu only. It's Jagannath Rath Yatra, but they were all watching Chaitanya Mahaprabhu dancing like a firebrand, it is mentioned. When Krishna decides to dance, he will be the greatest of dancers. And this is wild dancing. Why? He is maddened with ecstasy. He is enjoying Radharani's bhava, separation and meeting again. So nobody can beat it. That type of dancing, he was swirling in the sky and falling. He was jumping and leaping and, like taps of water were coming out of his eyes. All strange things were happening which nobody has ever seen. Why? God is dancing. The supreme absolute truth is dancing. I think to normal religious people, if you say all this, then they're even more confused. As it is, I'm confused about God. And now you say God dances. Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra Meki. Now you say God is dancing like this. Now it's become more difficult for me. That is why Nietzsche said, I believe in a God who dances. Very, sarcastically. But it is true. It is true. The supreme absolute truth is chosen to dance. So that's why it's a spectacle. It's an amazing spectacle. And everybody was watching. Oh, what dancing. And there was Vallabha Bhatta also watching. And he was a very suspicious person, has got his own. And there is Prataparudra watching. And all sorts of things are happening in the Rath Yatra at that time. Prataparudra is watching, and it is mentioned here that Lord became very happy watching Prataparudra sweep the floor, sprinkle scented water, and make the way ready for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's wonderful chariot. So he became very pleased to see his humility, and such a wonderful devotee he is. At that time, he decided to bestow mercy on Prataparudra. So Prataparudra was able to see 7 forms of the Lord. Not everybody saw. And he was excited like nothing. And you see, even when you have such mercy of the Lord and many things happen to you, the material world continues to function the way it is supposed to function. He was watching and trying to take a look along with his assistant Harichand. And in front of him was Srivas Thakur also watching. Everybody is excited, no? It's like a fantastic, 2000 movie, or I don't know what you can say, performance. You can never get to see like this. Srivas Thakur also watching, and he was moving because all crowds of people and between heads only you can watch it. You have to climb up, and everybody was adjusting himself, and he also was doing that. But this is a king standing in front here. So he told Harichand, I am in charge. He tapped the shoulder of Srivas Thakur, one of the Panchatattva, and told him, excuse me, Maharaja, Raja, don't shake here and there, stand in one place. He wanted to tell. He tapped one time, he's not listening. He is lost. Srivas Thakur is lost in, seeing the beautiful spectacle of Jagannath and Lord Chaitanya dancing. So he didn't bother. Whoever it is, I don't care. I mean, who's going to bother? So, and repeatedly he's tapping. So he turned around and gave him one slap. One stunning slap to Harichand. And didn't even say anything. He went back to his looking. You can imagine how Harichand would be. I'm doing my duty. In between, both these pure devotees are having Lord Jagannath's darshan. In between, he did his duty as assistant, got a slap for it. And then he got angry and he wanted to do something about it. You want to do something about it. Immediately Prataprudra held his hand and said, don't. Be very happy he gave you a slap. Be very happy he gave you a slap. From a person like Srivas Thakur, he got a slap. Nothing more to be worried about. Relax. So I'm saying in between all the pure devotees experiencing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his varied forms and dancing, material world is also functioning. In between, he's giving a slap, he's getting a slap, and things are happening. It's very much like what we need to do. When we render our devotional service, in between we wonder, when will this stop? When will I not have this organizational burden and managerial burden and have pure, just to watch Lord Chaitanya dance, and I can also dance like this, and the sun will rise and the birds will twitter and I will murmur the holy name and there'll be nothing in my head but the Lord, and I will get to my Bhagavatam and read and read and read and read. But it's never like that. It's entwined with all sorts of, constantly you're thinking, when will I be able to do this? So you can see all sorts of things happening by the Lord's arrangement. Prataprudra is getting very special attention and mercy that he's able to see this. And the Lord is dancing, amazing performance he's doing. All this is happening in a setting by the arrangement of the Supreme Lord. Jagannath is also mentioned, that Jagannath is very stunned watching Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's dancing. And that's why sometimes the Radham stopped. Out of stunned surprise. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would call everybody, have them come, pull the Radham. And he himself with his head pushed the Rath when it stopped and nobody else could pull it. He used his own head, went to the back of the chariot and pushed it and it started moving. So this way he performed some amazing, spectacular pastimes, which everybody was witness to, and they were able to see how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is performing these pastimes to attract all the living entities, and how kind, how very merciful he is. That's the very great speciality of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's wonderful loving pastimes. And after that, in between, Prataprudra has always been wanting to meet the Lord personally. That is another wonderful story. And he is denied by the Lord a personal audience. And everybody is going and telling the Lord, he is a wonderful devotee. You must give your audience. And the Lord is saying, no. He's a Vishayi. He's a king. He enjoys his senses. He's got a lot of facilities at his disposal for sense gratification. And a sannyasi should never see such a person. He'll be finished. Those were the type of things that Lord Chaitanya was speaking. He was speaking Varnashrama. And they were telling, he's your devotee. Then he was giving answer back in terms of Varnashrama rules. A sannyasi should not see. But they knew that that's not true. They knew somewhere it's not true. And somehow here and there, and Prataprudra decided that, okay, what is the use of living if he doesn't want to see me? I am going to go and renounce and become a kapalika, hold a skull on my hand and bang a few bells and hang around naked or something. I'll go and do something else. I'll give up this whole thing. And since he was talking in these type of things, and finally he met with Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, who said, don't worry, I know how it works. definitely wanting to see you. But it has to be done in a right way. So he gave a wonderful plan. He will dance and chant and come and he will rest here in this wonderful garden. That time you don't go as a king. You go as a Vaishnava, nicely dressed with a tilak and kantimala and nice, simple, right? And you go and do service. And you're the king, nobody can stop you. That special area, nobody else can go. But you can go inside. So you use your authority and you go inside and nobody will stop you. So he was also a little scared, going to meet, but he did it. He went there, started massaging the Lord's lotus feet, and as per instruction, he started chanting beautiful Bhagavatam shlokas. He chanted the Gopika Gitam, right? He took all these shlokas and the Lord became very happy, especially when he chanted Tava Katha Amritam Tapta Jivanam Kavibiriditam Kalmashapaham Shavana Mangalam Srimadatam Bhuvi Grinantiye Bhurida Jana. When he chanted this, Lord Chaitanya woke up and embraced him. Burida, Burida. He said, oh, wonderful, how generous and magnanimous devotees are. He embraced Prataprudra, whom he said, I don't want to see. He said, Vichayi. Now he went and embraced him. So you can imagine Prataprudra's excitement and ecstasy. I got embraced by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In this way, Lord Chaitanya has wonderful, amazing relationships with his devotees. His relationship with devotees, some of those devotees are so exalted and their relationships cannot be understood by ordinary materialistic people. Because this is one way with Prataprudra, and there are other relationships with Jagadananda Pandit, with Tamodar Pandit, with Mukunda, with all these devotees who all want to serve the Lord and they know nothing else but the Lord. They know nothing else but the Lord. So, in our Sampradaya, the understanding of love of God goes beyond just ordinary understanding. It goes to a level of the devotees bringing the Lord under his control. Coming under the control of the devotee is something very special for the Lord. To be subordinating, the Lord subordinating himself to his devotee because of the love of his devotee. Because of the love of his devotee. That is an amazing aspect of the Supreme Lord. Mentioned in the Bhagavatam by Shukadeva Goswami also. And you can see all these things happening in Lord Chaitanya's pastimes very easily, very nicely. So it is so sweet that we can savor it somewhere deep inside in our heart of hearts. And we can feel great attraction towards that. We can feel, because we are all parts and parcels of Krishna. And we can see that this is a possibility. And we are awakened to that type of a deep relationship. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes, as it is mentioned here, Alaukika Leela. It is not Laukika. It is not the normal things that you hear. Alaukika Leela. If you don't have faith in it, the Chaitanya Charitamrita says, Ihaloka Paraloka Sabha Nasha. Neither in this world nor in the next world will you ever find anything worthwhile. You're destroyed if you did not have faith in these wonderful pastimes of the Lord. So like I said, faith is a very essential element. Adhau Shraddha Tata Sadhu Sangata Bhajana Kriya. We all start with faith, but that faith gradually increases and crystallizes into conviction and very deep understanding of the reality. It starts with faith. Faith is not considered to be something, the final thing. Faith, it starts with, but you get something much more than faith. We're not just a faith-based organization. We're an organization that starts with faith. It's not it may be the basis of your starting, but in the final end, you are actually filled with prema to such an extent that the Lord is subordinating himself to you. Right? Now, which reason will tell you how to understand that? So you cannot understand even the Lord subordinating himself through rationale. Through no rationale can you understand how is it possible. This is not possible. That the king will subordinate himself to the subject. It's not possible. It's not there in this thing at all. But in love of God, it is there. It's there, and it is born out of faith. Adau Shraddha, it lands you up in a place where you are in a position to control the Lord. And you're not doing it for some material gratification. It's happening naturally. It's happening naturally. That is the characteristic of the Supreme Absolute Truth, the Supreme Lord. So that's why you can see the statements made in Chaitanya Charitamrita. They are all of a wonderful level. They're not like very easily understood if you're only on the religious level. And you can see constant explanations of religion pitted against pure devotion. This comparison is throughout the Bhagavatam and throughout the Chaitanya Charitamrita to show that Sarvadharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Braja means give up all religious stuff and surrender to me. Aham Tvam Sarvapapebhyo Mokshisyami Ma Suchaha. It's a criterion that devotees come to understand as they read and understand Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's wonderful pastimes. He's introducing Krishna to everybody. So, in the Jagannath Rath Yatra, you will see that Prabhupada is explaining and great acharyas have explained that something else is going on there. And some devotees are able to see it. Most cannot see it, but they are still very happy from what they can see. Some are able to see something and some are able to take part deeply in what's happening. Because there's something going on between Lord Jagannath and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And both are the same personality. Both are the same personality, but they are in different moods. And there is union. Seeing Lord Jagannath, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is seeing him as Vrindavan Krishna, Shyamasundara Krishna. And he is ecstatically happy because he is in Radharani's mood. And he's seeing Krishna after so long. So he is very happy and therefore he is dancing like this. It's the best dancing performance because he is the height of ecstasy. Right? At the same time, Jagannath is also very happy to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in this mood of separation and in great happiness. In this instance of this happening, there is lots of nice discussion about the supreme nature of love of Krishna. There's a dialogue there where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is also talking in the way Radharani is speaking, that is met with in Kurukshetra, and Krishna is speaking like he spoke Bhagavad Gita. I am the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Aham sarvasya prabhu mattas sarvam pravartate. You practice Gyan, you do this, you do karma and yoga, that step by step you can come to me. Bhakti yoga is the topmost, etc., etc. And then Radharani is known to say, this is ridiculous. You're talking to me like this. It seems she said, this is ridiculous, you're talking to me like this. I don't have to be taught how to remember you. I have to be taught how to forget you. This is causing me so much misery, remembering you all the time and not being able to see you. So teach me how to forget you. I'm not able to forget you. And I'm suffering because of that. And you're coming and telling me, always remember me. So he said, it's ridiculous that you're teaching me this. And in this way, they said that what we want you to do is to come now to Vrindavan with us. That's all. We don't talk all this. We don't need to hear all this from you. So in this way, the Lord was drawn by the love of Radharani and the gopis. that he had no other alternative but to be subject himself to that order. Come back to Vrindavan. That is the mood we talk about. That is how Ratha Yatra means, going from Dwaraka, the famous Jagannath temple of all opulence, when he has already spent 15 days with Lakshmi in the Anavasara, and now he is going to the simple place of Vrindavan, which is filled with Madhurya Rasa. And that is what he revels and indulges in. So he's being taken away for that. That is Ratha Yatra, from one end to Gundicha, right? That is the mood, that is the understanding. So we are also trying to draw the Ratha, pull the Ratha. And that's why we asked to draw the Rath. We're pulling the Ratha, the Lord, into our heart. Our heart is like Vrindavan. And if Krishna comes and resides there, it becomes complete and full. So Ratha Yatra means drawing the Lord into the heart. So that is like the journey of life. Journey of life is also a yatra, the soul's yatra. And the soul's yatra achieves perfection when you can actually do this. When you can actually do the Ratha Yatra of life, draw the Lord into your heart. Then your Ratha Yatra, your personal Ratha Yatra also is very successful. It's not that we have to only do the Ratha Yatra every year, take Lord Jagannath on the chariot and then pull the thing and get involved in the organization and be happy the Ratha Yatra is over. My gosh, let's go for a trip to Vrindavan. Many of them go on a holiday after the Ratha Yatra, especially from the temple. Why? Because too much of organization stuff. Let's relieve ourselves of the stress. Well, but this is what is really happening there. If we get into it, if you really get into it, then we're absorbed. Like Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is absorbed, Pratap Rudra is absorbed, Srivas Thakur is absorbed in complete, total absorption with Krishna and his pastimes. So this is a desire, that is a hope that this will happen to us. And that is why we are taking part in all these things. We're taking part in association with devotees. We are taking part in service to Krishna. We are organizing Ratha Yatra. Many times we organize Ratha Yatra for one purpose, that everybody come and see Lord Jagannath. I said 3 ways the Lord manifests himself. We want to organize the meeting of everybody with Lord Jagannath and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We do Kirtan. So we have Gaur Nitai here. It's the business of all of us to bring everybody in contact with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Pratima nahi tumi sakshat Prajendra Nandana. He is Sakshat Chaitanya Mahaprabhu standing here. And if we bring people in touch, they will see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Like I said, darshana they will get. And slowly things will work in their life. So Prabhupada has set this wonderful system and organization to have everybody see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, dance and chant and take prasadam and hear something and transform yourself. Lord Chaitanya is very eager to meet everybody. He's very eager to meet everybody. When Prabhupada first went to Atlanta, you know that wonderful story in the Leelamrita, that he saw that Gaur Nitai deities are already there. And in his address initially, he became overwhelmed with the eagerness of Gaur Nitai to distribute mercy to everybody. He said that they have come here before me. Before I have arrived here, they have already come, eager to do this. And when seeing the form of the Lord there, he became completely overwhelmed. How eager Krishna is as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to give out his mercy, his association, and save everybody. So we have this wonderful opportunity to become instruments of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to bring people in touch with Lord Chaitanya, to bring people in touch with the chanting of the holy name. And that will please him very much. And it's a very easy task to do. All the difficult task has already been done by Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. And we have to do only the easy stuff. We have already got a facility set up and everything. We just have to call somebody and bring them here. Even that becomes very difficult to do, actually. Oh, I have to dial and I have to call somebody, and it's a lot of work involved in it. Everything is difficult in this world. If you look at it through the agency of the mind, because the mind has got an infinite capacity to mundanize every spiritual devotional thing that you need to do and weigh it down on you, like very difficult to do. But actually, it's been made very easy by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It cannot become simpler than this. It cannot become simpler than this. So we should seize the opportunity and actually work at it. It is good both for us and for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is so eager to give His mercy to everybody. Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna. I will stop here if there's any question or comment that you would like to make. Maybe Shankarshan Nityam from Mayapur, resident Vasi, can make more comments on Lord Chaitanya.
Maharaj, I'm speaking every day morning.
You're already speaking.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let others comment.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for wonderful explanation, Maharaj. Ratha Yatra is coming, so already you are transported to Jagannath Puri, and we can see how Mahaprabhu and dancing. And it was said that Alataka dancing is like a
Firebrand.
circle.
Circle.
So I don't know how it is possible. So Mahaprabhu was dancing like that. Hare
Yeah.
Krishna.
And his body all transformed. He was shivering and chattering and trembling and sweating, and
Also falling on the ground.
he fell, crashed on the ground.
Crashed on the ground.
Amazing. Any comment or question?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you so much for a wonderful narration edition of the Rath Yatra. Maharaj, at times there are situations we have faith. We've been associated with devotees. There are situations when this faith gets shaken. At that moment, Maharaj, what should be our action and what should we do at that?
You should hold on to somebody who has solid faith. Immediately hold on to somebody who has solid faith to protect your faith. It's a very pertinent question you've asked. I always ask devotees that, I asked a question recently also amongst a leaders meeting in India. I asked, what is the final product of our society? We are working so much, right? Morning to evening, organizational things, that, looking after the TDs, collecting funds, building a project, worrying, headaches and stress and everything we take up. Finally, what are we working for? What's our product as an organization? Yesterday I was speaking to somebody in the Hosur. They told me, I'm working in Titan. You know, Titan wristwatches and what in this thing. So he told me, they make watches. He told me the product first. I know Titan. That's how we recognize, any organization. What's your product? What do you make? After all the job that you do, what do you do? We give people watches. Of course, they pay us money and we make money out of it. But we watches. We serve society like this. We give people jobs, etc. So as a society, what's our product? What are we producing? Huh? What do we produce? We produce gentlemen. Yeah, true. That's Prabhupada's definition of a devotee. Right? Our product is actually devotees. I would say go one step further and say, faith in the devotees is our real intangible product. This faith which you're talking about is very subtle and intangible. But there are devotees who don't have faith also. And sometimes they get into a lot of trouble because of that. They're not able to put that faith because of a lot of other types of things in their head. But like I mentioned to you, Gopinath Acharya, I have full faith and I got the mercy and you don't have it. I'm very sorry about it. He's telling Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, who's a great scholar. So sometimes we see that some people struggle to get that faith. And some people very easily have faith. It's a blessing. So maintenance of that faith which is cultivated in our devotees is our real job. Watchdog of that faith should be protected. That is the real valuable outcome of all our effort. By all the preaching we do and all the education we do and all the deity worship we do and everything, it builds faith in people in Krishna, in Prabhupada's words, right? That is a valuable commodity. And Maya knows this. And that is where it will attack. Get the fruit. It will attack you. Exactly. Maya's strategy is to attack you exactly where it matters. Okay, so that attack is always going to be there. It is going to be there. So when your faith is attacked, you immediately, some people get knowledge and solve it. If you're not reading Prabhupada's books very well, a lot of times this can affect you. There's one very simple solution is to read Prabhupada's books scrutinizingly. Why did he say it? It will preserve your faith. It will strengthen your faith. Elila amrit vinakhaya yadi annapane tabe bhakter durbhala jivana. Are ek bindu pane utfulita tanumane hase gaya koraye nartana. This beautiful verse from the Mati Leela says that don't eat ordinary rice to build your body alone. You eat this, read this. If without this, durbala jivana, you'll become very weak in your faith. If you scrutinizingly read Prabhupada's books every day, you will have solid faith. That's one way. I tell devotees, and how long have you been seriously reading? It's been a long time. I read, but I read as a part of my sadhana. I must read for half an hour. I read. Sometimes we do that. I must chant. I chant. I finished everything. Still I'm feeling like this. Why? It's because we tend to do the sadhana like we do our job. Go in the morning, clock, and then write the thing, do the come back, like the, go read and study and do the exam, come back. Then it's not connected. We are somewhere not connected. So Prabhupada is actually telling, scrutinizingly read. Get into it, understand it. This is Krishna's instruction also to Arjuna. Iti te jnanam akyatam guhyat guhyattaramaya vimrishya tatyase shena yatecha sitata kuru. Vimrishya, deliberate on what you have understood and what I have told you. Krishna did not say, now that I have told you, jnana vijnana sagitam yajnatva mokshayate ashubhat, go ahead. Everything is with you. He told him in the end, deliberate and now act. When you deliberate, tata kuru, you act, you will get much more out of that. So it's a process that actually is building up your faith. That's what Gopinath Acharya is not having a problem with understanding this is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's obviously in a much higher level than Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. But the world will recognize Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya only. And he's not bothered about it. He's telling him, you're wrong, I am right. Isn't it? With confidence he's telling. That happens to you if you have read deeply, scrutinizingly. Next thing to do is hold on to another person who has done that. In spite of this, if you're getting attacked, you have to hold on to another person who has done that and practiced it. That will give you the necessary strength. In practical terms, I'm saying. Of course, you must chant your japa nicely. Of course, you must deeply internally connect. Krishna consciousness is not just a mechanical process forever. Initially, it is as a sadhana. After that, we must reflect deeply, what am I doing? What am I trying to do? What do I want from this? Am I getting that? How will I get it? And what is mentioned here? You have to put yourself to it. Does it help? Yeah. Any other question or comment? Yeah.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. I have similar question regarding faith. So, like, what are the symptoms of like complete faith? Like, because if I want to know, I don't have this much faith. I want to reach up to this complete faith.
Actually, it's interesting to know the definition of faith that is given in the scripture, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Shraddha Shabde Vishwasa Kohile Sudrida Nischaya. Krishna Bhakti Kohile Sarva Karma Kruta Hoya. Faith means by rendering devotional service to Krishna, everything is achieved. This is called faith. Actually, in one sense, what the United Nations says is correct. We are a faith-based organization, according to this definition. Prabhupada is saying, this is called faith. The fact that everything will happen nicely for me if you render Bhakti Yoga. This is called faith. Everything will be set right by my becoming a devotee. That is called faith. Okay. So your question is, repeat your question.
What are the symptoms of like complete faith? How to understand like whether, because if I want to achieve complete faith, then I want to understand like how much faith I have now and how slowly I can reach to that level.
You will know when you read the Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita, you will exactly know where your faith is. When you see the stories of all these wonderful devotees. When you read Prabhupada's Leelamrita also, you will know, oh, I am not like this. You can immediately sense it. The way Prabhupada is taking steps and how he is going ahead, in his voyage, how he is remaining very humble and completely connected with Krishna throughout and executing whatever comes with complete faith. Like I said, Shraddha Shabde Vishwasa Kohile. He's showing it by his life, isn't it? So you should not feel morose that, oh, I am not like that. Naturally, you'll not be like that. I mean, why are you so puffed up to think that I should be like that immediately now with one switch on and off? You won't be like that. So the reality is humility. The reality is humility, that I am not like that. But there is every chance I could become like that. The path is open in front of me. I have to do the work necessary for that. Surrender to Krishna. And so don't have to feel morose about it, because we discovered Krishna all of a sudden in Krishna consciousness movement. Each one comes from different backgrounds and different life experiences and histories in previous lives. And the great fortune is that you got in touch with Krishna consciousness. Be happy about it instead of becoming morose that I don't have that type of faith. Naturally, you'll not have. Naturally, you'll not have. But the prospect of becoming like that is open to you. It's not that you should feel morose when you get admission into MBBS by watching the other doctors who are graduating. You will also one day make it if you do the things properly. You'll also come out with a stethoscope and a scissor in your hands and cut up everybody's guts and everything very soon. Don't worry. And you make a lot of money. Don't worry. Right? So the path is open. Similarly, the characteristics of faith that you're asking for, you can see in the people who are situated and serving Krishna under so many adverse conditions and continuing to do so. That gives us great inspiration. Right? Yeah. Read Prabhupada's books very scrutinizingly, and especially his life history. It's a wonderful this thing. It sounds very ordinary initially, but if you read Bhagavad Chaitanya Charitamrita and go back to Prabhupada's life history, you'll see it's another story of one of the great devotees given in great detail who lived in your times right now. It's not that, oh, Dhruva Maharaja, Satya Yuga and all, how can you practice? Oh, your mind is also very nicely rationalizing how not to do it. But then here is Prabhupada coming in saying, no, I did it now. Here in the now, do it. And he's instructing them to do it. And there are people who do it and also feel the same. Right? So all this will destroy all the so-called mental proposals that's coming up. All the best.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. There is one question in the chat window from devotee Premapriya Radhika Mataji.
There is a question from Zoom. Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Zoom is another guy, eh? Boom. Okay, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you for a wonderful class. Maharaj, you mentioned how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had such good relationship with all he showed, with all. He showed by his example how to maintain or develop good relationship. Maharaj, can you share more on how to develop or maintain good relationship with devotees without finding faults or judging them on assumptions?
So, material relationships or spiritual relationships? Yeah, I'm joking. Yes, that's an interesting question. Everything is centered around relationships. What is the impetus for anybody to do something in this world, in the material world? Is because they're driven by their desire to have good relationships. Why is the head of the family, a husband, going to work morning to night and bringing home the money and nice things for his wife and children and parents? Because that is a sustaining, purpose. When I do this and I savor that relationships, in the material world I'm saying, by people who are leading a sane life, you want to labor, you want to do these things, and wow, I did it for a good purpose. In the same way, our spiritual life is sustained only by our relationships with devotees. It's not so disconnected with our relationship with Krishna. It's very much connected with the relationship with Krishna. How that as much as we develop a relationship with Krishna and our knowledge and our understanding, we will be able to reflect that in our relationships. Somehow in ISKCON, we have a challenge that we have organizational stuff in between, and we have other one-to-one relationships. And I see every time we are struggling with this, whether I should decide to pay attention to this or that. And mostly people will choose to forget the organizational so-called thing and keep my relationship with so-and-so in the forefront as a choice, as a first choice. And in this way, there'll be some other difficulties that we have organizationally. This is $1 million question that nobody is going to answer so easily. But it's a fact that we have to learn to harmoniously tie up these relationships together. Most of the time I see the relationships are due to something to do with an organization stuff, management, positions, my service, your service, my zone, your zone, my turf, your turf, my people, your people, all these things only happen. It's all other type of things. But if somebody is freely sitting and chanting and discussing Bhagavatam and eating prasadam together, there is no problem. It's pretty nice, isn't it? How we wish there was ISKCON without organization. And a sea of devotees and we all. But you must know that it's not only ISKCON like that, Varnashrama is ISKCON only. Because there's absence of Varnashrama, there is ISKCON. But in previous times also it was like that. People had to actually keep within the Varnashrama. What you read throughout Bhagavatam, this thing is about Varnashrama. And like King Priyavrata is saying that, forget it, I'm just going. Krishna is the ultimate end of life, so I'm doing it. What's the problem? So he's being called, no, you have to become king. Not required. I don't need it. You don't need it. No, I don't need it. No, you have to do the duty. So it's a whole discussion about Varnashrama, and he's saying, I don't need it. I don't need ISKCON. Yeah? I can go somewhere to Vrindavan, sit down by the Yamuna river and chant Hare Krishna. I can buy one set of Bhagavatam and my chanting bag enough. Bhiksham Dehi, somebody will give me something. No, we need you. We need you, organization. You don't sit by Vrindavan, please. Isn't it? That's there even then. Even then. There's always been a dialogue. So I don't see it as something that's not happening. Pandava's life is filled with that only. This, responsibility of ruling a kingdom and all that. They could have very well renounced and gone and become pure devotees, which they already are and done. So this nexus will always exist, and relationships become challenged if you are not situated in a proper understanding of how to deal with both of them nicely. It definitely requires maturity. Maturity, good understanding of what Prabhupada has mentioned in his teachings. Otherwise, the relationships constantly get challenged. Why? Like I told you, Maya will attack the organization by attacking relationships, attacking faith in people, one over the other. These are all tender places. That's why it's called Komala Shraddha. One who has tender faith can get attacked, isn't it? So our relationships get affected. You should be determined to see beyond material considerations to maintain a relationship. They will tell you, even in a marital relationship, they'll tell you that also. You have to like oversee certain these things. These are all. So when we see beyond material considerations, and we see in terms of having a soul-to-soul relationship, then you are mature. That takes maturity to see beyond material things. Somebody does something under the influence of the gunas. If we get affected by it, that means you are also getting affected by the gunas, actually speaking, and it happens to us. Then we get entangled in this and that. But if advanced devotees would actually not get entangled in that, they'll keep away from that and see a standalone perspective of the soul trying to do seva to Krishna. What he needs is help. Let me do that. Whatever he calls me by names, whatever he does to me, irrespective of all that, I am determined to do something for him. Then it's good relationship. It grows and it gets reciprocated like that. That's what I said Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is doing. Irrespective of what you are, such a rascal that you are, I'm not going to see all that. I'm going to give you the holy name. I'm going to give you the topmost thing in my treasury. Nijagupta Vittam. I will give you that. I know you're not at all qualified to receive this, but I want to give you this because you are my part and parcel. You belong to me. That is relationship over other things. So in our Krishna conscious movement, we need to learn to appreciate bhakti and give value to devotional service. And we have to pay value to it and make it valuable. Sometimes we pay value to material aspects of people and their material contributions. There we have a problem. There we have a problem. Then relationships can get affected. Right? So how to value bhakti and give it the proper prominence that's required of it. Then we will see relationships are much better. Where does your value system exist? So if you examine carefully, you will see that it may not be existing in terms of, then you have relationship problems. Because all our relationships are based, Prabhupada said, trust and faith. Our organization is running on trust and faith. He never said other things that are normally important, foundationally. So we have to nurture these things at the expense of other things that you may be addicted to or you like to do, etc. What are these foundational principles? How to look at another devotee in terms of his devotional service. That will help us to, better our relationships. I am very surprised when I see politicians get together very well. All the nonsense and the lousy character they have, sorry to say this publicly, but in spite of all that, they get together. Wow, they strike alliances. They do this, and all that, get together to win the election, get together to occupy position in the material world. So we should get together on the basis of bhakti, isn't it? We should do that because that's a value. What's valuable, get around it and pay value to it. And wherever you see it, give value. Then I think our relationships will be based on that. And it will be much better. Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, I have one doubt. Can I ask one question, Maharaj? Sorry. Maharaj?
For you and only for you, because of you, I came here.
Krishna. Maharaj, you are telling about the values and importance.
His Holiness Bhakti Vinod Swami Maharaj ki jai. So grateful to Maharaj for his wonderful nectar. And we personally thank Maharaj for his association. We've been having his association since, we missed this association from long time, maybe 2 years or so, 2.5 years. So Maharaj very gracefully accepted our invitation and so mercifully, out of his busy schedule, he has come here and given his association. And we request Maharaj to give more and more his association. And Narari Prabhu said that he was so happy when Maharaj was here, and he said that all exalted personalities are here, like Maharaj and his great Shankarshan Nitai Prabhu is there. Please take his association and be benefited by it. So we'll express our gratitude by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra once for
No
Maharaj.
prasadam? Okay.
Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Thank you, Maharaj. Haribol, devotees are requested to take prasadam on the first floor, please. Hare Krishna. Prasadam Hall. Prasadam Hall.